The Pittsburgh Steelers have traded quarterback Kenny Pickett to the Philadelphia Eagles. It is a pick swap, and Adam Schefter posted the official compensation for it. Let me just find that real quick. So the compensation is a pick swap. The Steelers get pick number 120. No, pick number 98 and 2 7th-round picks in 2025. The Eagles get pick number 120 and Kenny Pickett this year. You know what? I'm not going to be the bigger person here. I'm going to be, and I have been on Twitter. I'm going to be extremely petty about all of this. Because for the past 2 years, I've had to listen to these Kenny Pickett fanboys defend a horrible quarterback and tell me how great he is and act like he's their messiah for 2 fucking years. And now he's gone. And you know why he's gone? Because back in January, when Derek Bell and Steelers Now reported that he refused to be the backup for Mason Rudolph, that is now confirmed to be true by Jared Dulac of Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He refused to be the backup in Seattle, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers signed Russell Wilson, and they reportedly didn't like how he was acting about that, so they traded his ass to the Eagles. And I am so happy about it. So now, the Pittsburgh Steelers only have the one quarterback on the roster. That's Russell Wilson. So now I'm thinking they might trade for Russell or for Justin Fields. Because there isn't a market right now for Fields. The Steelers are probably it. Maybe the New York Giants. So if you're Pittsburgh, and hey, you call up the Chicago Bears and be like, hey, we'll take Justin Fields. We'll give you a day 3 pick. What do you say? Because there's no market for him right now. Everybody thought that, this would be a guy that could go for maybe a 2nd or 3rd round pick. It's very clear that nobody has valued him as that. Steelers need a quarterback to back up Russ, or maybe even have, a de facto quarterback competition. Why not go get him? And if Russ doesn't play well this year, maybe you pick up the 5th-year option for Justin Fields and have that in your back pocket next year, so you at least have a quarterback on the roster next year. They're also definitely going to draft a guy, whether that be, in the 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round, I don't know. It depends on how the board falls. They have much bigger needs right now than worrying about, taking a guy, if it's a 2nd round and Michael Penix is still there. It depends on what they do in the 1st round. If they have a center, if they have a tackle, it just depends on how the board falls, how they value some of these guys. But if they were to take someone like a Spencer Rattler on day 2, okay, there's one of your quarterbacks on the roster. If they take a guy like a Michael Pratt from Tulane, okay, there's another quarterback on the roster. But that is my immediate thoughts in terms of what happens next for the quarterback position. But overall, as I've said, I've had to sit for 2 years covering this team, being a fan of this team, and having to see all of these Kenny Pickett fanboys in my mentions, whether it be on here, whether it be on Twitter, telling me how great this guy is and it's all Matt Canada's fault. And 4th quarter Kenny, guess what? He's gone. Good riddance. And as the great people over at Steelers Now reported in January, Mason Rudolph was the starter in Seattle. Kenny Pickett refused to dress. That has now been confirmed by Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And it is also reported that the Steelers didn't like how Kenny Pickett responded to Russell Wilson being signed. And so they sent him to the Philadelphia Eagles. And now he's gone. So there's a few comments here. Steel City Reaper, yes, he's gone. Yes, he is. Does this take the cult with him? Yeah, by the way, enjoy that, Philadelphia Eagles fans, because the second Jalen Hurts throws in an interception or doesn't have a great game, you're going to hear from him. You're going to hear from him. You're going to hear from that Pickett hive. I'll put in Kenny. Put him in. Misunderstood. Well, he's 14-10 as a starter. Put him in. Yeah, good luck with that, Philadelphia. My buddy Greg Cherry, Pickett fanboys are in shambles. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But you won't hear from them. No. I haven't heard from any of them today, oddly enough. Now they're hiding. Now they're going to be quiet. They were very much alive when Kenny Pickett was throwing for $120 against the Browns and getting his ass beat, telling me that it wasn't his fault, that it was Matt Canada's fault. They were very much alive when he was playing horrible football for 3 quarters per game and occasionally having a nice fourth quarter, telling me he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. They were pretty vocal then. They ain't vocal right now, are they? I'm so happy. I could not be happier right now. And look, man, I would say it's not against Kenny Pickett as a person, but all these reports coming out that now he's just being a prima donna, to hell with him. Good riddance. The worst starting quarterback in this franchise's history. When you take into account all the expectations that came with it, like we could talk about guys like Kent Graham was bad and Bubby Brister and guys of that like. Nobody expected them to be superstars. Steelers took this guy in the first round, 20th overall, because he went to the same university that the city or that the team is in and shared a facility with the team. They drafted the story over the player. I'll go to my grave thinking that. You're never going to tell me otherwise. And now he's gone. And you know what? Omar Khan, credit to you, man. Because that general manager has done more in the past calendar year or so, past 2 years, than Kevin Colbert did in the past decade. There's a new era for Pittsburgh. I don't know what this year's going to look like under Russ. I don't know how he's going to look, but I'll tell you right now, I am so happy Kenny Pickett's off this team. So happy.